So hey guys, welcome to Ustream. People are just struggling to find the page again. So welcome to Ustream. First of all, I'm going to do some advertisements. So my next event is this weekend, the 15th to the 17th, in Berlin, Germany. Friday night, 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock, sorry, 7 o'clock till maybe 9 or 9:30. Saturday 11 till 1 and 3 till 5, and then Sunday 2 till 5. Then after that, the 30th to the 6th of August, we have a retreat in Romania. I think there's still spaces on this one. I'm not sure what types of room, but you'd have to write to the organizer to find out. Then we have a retreat, 14-day intensive retreat in southern Spain, the 18th of October to the 1st of November. And you can also just do the first week if you want as well. You can do the first 7 days, or you can do 2 weeks. I think most of the single rooms are gone now, but the retreat centre might be having some more single rooms. Then the 30th to the 20th of January, I'll be doing 3 weeks of talks. I think that's 3 weeks. From 10:30 to 12:30, so every morning I'll be doing a talk in Tiruvannamalai, which is opposite to Ramana Maharshi's ashram. And all of that's on my website. So that's the 30th of December, so it'll be for New Year, till the 20th of January. So you can come for any time, and it's by donation, so you can, give me 1,000 euros per talk, or you can give me €1 per talk. Obviously, most of you will be giving me 1,000 euros per talk. Actually, it'll be rupees. I forget what the rupee is. So that one's great to go to as well, but it's all the way in India. So you have to be, no, I cannot do an Indian accent. And you should check out my new website. My other one, unfortunately, which was really beautiful, but it crashed when we were trying to change it. So we had to build another one. But this one's really beautiful too, but completely different. But we lost all the beautiful animal pictures. That's the way it goes. Oops, sorry. You might notice tonight that I keep disappearing looking down. It's because I just had my tattoo changed slightly and updated. And it's very red and bruised and blobby at the moment, and there's sort of blood around it because it's just been done. But I keep getting stuck looking at it. So I'm looking at all the detail and where the blood is and the patterns. I was just looking to see how much it was swollen. But you might notice I just keep disappearing like this in the talk. It's a bit painful as well. So I did everything. I advertised. What else am I meant to do at the beginning of my talk? Oh yeah, I say what you do. Right. Okay. So if you want to speak to me, then you can call me through Skype, which is Lisa Cairns 12. Now with my new website, you can just go on there and there's a Skype button and you can just click call. But I can't guarantee I'll answer because sometimes there's lots of people writing to me. So if I don't answer, you can just send me a message and I'll try to answer as soon as I finish speaking to someone else. If I don't get round to speaking to you, I'm sorry. I do try to be as fair as I can and spread it out and make sure people that haven't spoken before speak. But it might also just be really personal that I don't like you and don't want to speak to you. That's a joke. Obviously everyone just went, oh. Yes. Not a very good joke, Lisa. But trust me, I do. There's normally about 100 listeners so I do get a lot of messages. So I don't obviously see them all. And just send them again. If I don't see it, send it again. Don't be embarrassed about sending lots of messages again and again. Just remind me, I want to speak to you, because sometimes I click onto them and then I forget or I don't see them again. And you can also find a link to my Ustream on my website now. You go to the Ustream section and it's an embedded TV in the web page, which is good. So if you struggle with finding me on Ustream, you can always go there. And I do the Ustreams every Sunday night at 5 p.m. UK time and every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. UK time. So you just have to work that out in your country. This is my gran here. Oh. No, there. Oh, that's so hard. Okay, there. No. That is gran on my mother's side. Oh man, it's so confusing. That's my gran and granddad. Look at that hat. Isn't that a cool hat? That's my granddad. Oh. This is my aunt, my dad's side, which I think that I've got the same face as. You can't see very well. And I've got the same way of being as her. And the same mentality even. Yeah, we're really similar. She hasn't got eye makeup on there, so that maybe makes us look different, but if you look at our structure, it's really similar. Alright, and that's that. That's the house taken care of and the pictures. I'll show you. You want to see a picture of when I was young? This is a time when you're at your parents' house. Oh my god, I was so cute. Really not that many of me. I don't know how old I was there. 7 or 8 maybe. There's my mum, you can't really see much. Yada da. Same here. Okay. So non-duality is the same as life. It doesn't make any difference if I speak about the pictures or rubbish or what I did today or how wonderful my top is. It doesn't matter. It's all life. You try to look for non-duality in the profound or in particular words, but that's the seeker, and the seeker is what veils non-duality. All there ever is what's happening, and what's happening is the gift. The next moment isn't the gift. What you understand isn't the gift. You think that understanding brings you something, but what happens in understanding, which is a beautiful form, is that you begin to disappear in that understanding. You feel like you understand yourself, and for a moment you complete yourself, and there is a disappearance of that seeking energy, and then this moment comes back to life. It's the same with the lover, it's the same with everything. It's all about getting. You exist because you believe that life is about you getting something and you being something. Really, there's nobody there. There is an experience of a someone, of a character. And that character isn't who you are. That character becomes identification when it believes it is someone solid and it seeks for the next moment for something better. It looks in time for something better, but that person is simply an experience that's coming and going, and it doesn't need to complete itself in time. Completion is. It feels like the functioning is completion in time, because when you get things you feel complete, but actually it's in that moment of getting you disappears, and then all that's left is completion. It is the essence of all things. It is the purpose and the nature of the game. And it's a beautiful game. It's like the constant lover. But to you, when you're separate, you feel like it's an unfair and harsh game because you're trying to get to completion, but you keep looking for it somewhere else, somewhere else, somewhere else. The completion is. That's what's underneath things. And as you begin to clear, there it is, vibrant, free, and knowing of everything. Not knowing intellectually, but nothing is questioned, nothing is not known. Because there is nothing that you could possibly get that would give you anything more. There's nothing you could possibly understand that would give you anything more. The intellect becomes redundant. You shouldn't be watching me from the intellect. Watch me from the spontaneity. The spontaneity is reminding you of your freedom. Because I'm not looking, I'm not seeking, I'm not trying to get something from you or the next moment. You can hear it in the way I speak. You can hear my silence. You can hear my freedom. That's why you listen. But let me sing you home. Don't try and go home. There's nowhere to go. You won't get there. You'll feel frustrated. You'll long for it. It's right here. It's your essence. It's the birthright of all things. And it will be there when you die. It's there supporting you in every moment, in all your agonies and your loneliness and your heartache. It's there holding you, embracing you. It never left you. But you see, you believe you're that person, but actually that person is appearing in God, in the experiencer. That person doesn't feel, that person doesn't look, that person doesn't experience. Who is it then that experiences? That person is a filter placed on top of the light. Giving the appearance that somebody's moving in time, that somebody's experiencing, but the light is always still and ever present. So the metaphor of light is really beautiful. The traditional metaphor for non-duality is, what is the film played on? The film has to be played on something in order for it to be experienced. There has to be something still in which the film's been played on. But I really like the metaphor of the light. So the way that old-fashioned films worked, I think it's most probably a computer now that you have in the cinemas. Pardon me. Don't you just love it? Such beautiful words of non-duality and then sorry guys. That's obviously a joke. I'm obviously not sorry about being a burper. Oh yeah, so I think now that films are done by computers, but if you think of old-fashioned lights, like, old-fashioned old-fashioned films. So if you think about these old-fashioned films, the way that it worked was the still images. So there were still images, and those still images have light shone through them, and then the still images are moved at a certain speed, and then what it looks like on the screen is it looks like there's a whole world happening. So these pictures move past really quickly, and then sounds put over, and it looks like there's, on the screen there is a film of two people falling in love, having an argument, having a whole drama. But the whole time, the light is the same. The light is the perfect, brilliant, white light pouring through. And it's totally still, the light, even though the film looks like it's moving. But because the colours change, and that's all it is, it gives the appearance, so the filter changes colour, and it gives the appearance of movement and something happening, and a whole world happening in that film. But actually it's a light show. There is light and colour which gives the appearance that a whole film's happening and time and movement's happening. But actually reality of it all is that there's total and utter stillness with the appearance of movement. And who you are, who you truly are, is that light, which is the knowing, the awakeness of itself. And it is all things, it's playing every role. And there can be this energetic shift that happens in the body from being a bounded person, believing that your edge is inside here, to boundlessness. And still having the human, the very human Lisa experience, but it's no longer bound inside there. It's everything experiencing itself from the Lisa perspective though. working through this instrument. And that's the end of suffering. After that, so there is the initial awakening where it's kind of seen intellectually, or there's a bit of a cloud moving and it's seen that who you are is that boundlessness that's not located anywhere. And then for a period, it contracts and expands, it contracts and expands. Then there's a movement from being that separate entity to that expandedness. And then from this perspective, now what's happening is the body, seemingly for the last 6, 7 years, there's been a more of an integration into the human of Lisa. I know that sounds odd, but the karma and the body of Lisa has been catching up. So before there were old tendencies and loads of them fell away when there was that shift, but these tendencies are relaxing. So neurotic patterns that were based on being separate and separation are now relaxing in the body. Still sometimes Lisa can be a neurotic arsehole, but most of the time she's an enlightened saint. But these things, I'm just joking, but there can be a neurosis that comes up, but these things over the years have relaxed more and more because there's no longer that energy that believes it's someone. So Lisa becomes a more balanced, relaxed, peaceful person over time. But that is no longer suffering anymore, even though there's still energies working themselves out to become more balanced. It's no longer making a separate entity. So therefore all the emotions and these ideas and old patterns of being go straight through the body and aren't clinging on to make an entity anymore. Now whether that gets to an end or not, I don't know, because in a way you always pick up new patterns of being, but they certainly seem to relax. Maybe one day it'll get to the end when the whole of society wakes up and everyone becomes more balanced. In a way, you're kind of never really separate from the society and the peers. Lisa's becoming a better speaker about non-duality over the years. If you've watched her for a long time, you'll notice that she becomes a better speaker in the time-bound reality, even though it's not really real ultimately. In that apparent time of reality, she's becoming a better speaker about non-duality. I know it sounds like I'm being really arrogant, but I don't give the energy in here doesn't really give two hoots about it. It's just an impersonal observation. Even though it's not Lisa that's ever speaking, it goes through the filter of Lisa. Ultimately, this is spontaneity, this is boundlessness creating. But it doesn't suddenly start talking alien, although some of speakers out there like Barshaka or someone, Barkata, he channels an alien. If you've ever seen him, he does the eye thing, and then I think the alien speaks like this. Barshaka or somebody speaks like this. And he just I tried to imagine what my alien would be like. The alien through the Lisa body. Even though the alien through the Bashka body still has the qualities, a little bit of that body that it's coming through. My alien might be American. Be like a valley girl, like, oh my God, I'm here. Okay, non-duality, Lisa. So the end of the seeking is when that drops, so the nature of all things is total completion. Now completion, total completion isn't an experience, it's the absence of looking for anything. It's an absence. That's what's underneath. But on top, there's this energy of seeking, and it often feels like the seeker is somewhere in the torso. There's two sides of you. There's the person that feels like it's behind the eyes, and then there's these contractions in the body, which are you. And the seeker often feels like it's somewhere in the torso, in the stomach area, but it can be in the heart, and it's always longing. And that's how it believes it is, that combination of things. Longing for the next moment, the next moment. Next. Okay, so we can take questions, otherwise I'm just going to sit and obsessively look at the tattoo. Like to see the tattoo? It's really red and bloody. It's like an alien. Looks like a creature, like a spider. Okay, that makes it look... It's a lot more beautiful than that. That really hurt though. When I had the first tattoo, I don't remember it hurting so much. This one really hurt, but I think, because he's really good tattoo artist, and the other one wasn't such a good one, and I think it was a thinner needle, so I think that this one slices the skin more. Poof. It was making my, you know when you can feel it in your fingers? Ooh la 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 la. So, I think a little tear came out of my eye at one point as well. Okay. Hey, I hope it's okay if I type in a question later into the call. I'm at work. Sure, Susan, go for it. Hi, Laurie. Hi, Kevin. Hey, Phyllis. Hey, Vinny V. Hey, Jessie. Lots of love. Big hugs to you. Hi, Lisa. That's an interesting question, Tanya, but I just was going to ask Vinny's. So I just answered Vinny's and then I'll come back to yours. But if I don't come back to yours, Tanya, can you just send it again? Because I've now clicked on you, so your little dot moves and leaves, if you know what I mean. Okay, hi, Lisa. What I admire and envy about you, Lisa, is you seem... Imagine if I made up all these emails myself. Like I wrote that to myself. I'm like, oh, I'm going to write this on Ustream tonight. What I admire and envy about you, Lisa, is you seem able to let things come and go and just be with what's happening. You don't seem to hold on to things. You often say this can be due to your bad memory, as if it's a negative thing, but I suspect you don't mean this as a negative, do you? From my watching you, it's made me realise how often I can neurotically hold on to things and sometimes even obsess about stuff, which can cause me and others unnecessary suffering. Although I've come more aware of it when it's happening, it does seem to have a dynamic of its own. Do you think my staying with the sensation will help when this occurs? I also have a poor memory, but this is probably due to aging process. I'm a child of the 60s. Oh, Vinny. Are you a male or a female, Vinny? Oh, you're a male. I suddenly felt like you were a female there. Funny. I'd always felt like you were a male. I just had a sensation of the feminine. So that's a great, that's a great question. First of all, though, projection onto me. I don't know if I know you personally, so maybe you have spent time with me. I'm not denying that that's the way that I am now, or that this way this body is now, but the projection onto me, notice that we don't see a people objectively. We see what we need or we want to see in them, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because by recognizing that in Lisa, it might complete and undo something in you. But notice how you think there's a you that's in relationship with Lisa. But actually that you appears in the same way Lisa does, in the same space of knowing, but you're identified with one more than the other. When there was awakening, there was a dramatic change. I think it's also a combination with the bad memory as well, which does make things come and go very easily. But, I can be a pain in the arse. Don't... I'm sure that I can piss people off as well. I do piss people off. So, it's easy to put things onto me. I can piss people off I can be quite pedantic about certain things. I can be a perfectionist. I can also be not a perfectionist. I can be really messy, but I can be a perfectionist when I'm working. So therefore I can repetitively ask someone, and then sometimes I forget that I've asked them, so I can repetitively tell them again and again I want it a certain way. So humans are humans. But it did massively change. So all that obsessive thinking that I used to get stuck in, and wanting people to see me a certain way, and trying to convince people I'm a certain way, and trying to... Those sorts of things fell away. Forgot what you said. Yeah, and I do think that when you feel separate and you feel like your mind's going neurotic, to always bring it down to your sensations is a good thing, because in a way the sensations aren't in time, but the storytelling's always in time. And just to be conscious about what your body's actually feeling underneath the story. So if you're telling prideful stories about how you're better than someone, or how that person's an asshole, or you don't like them, or what terrible shoes they have, if you feel the feelings in the body, you might actually realize that you feel vulnerable. And in the acknowledgement of feeling vulnerable, in the acceptance of that, often the story of wanting to be better than another falls away. So the same with fears. If you're worrying obsessively about something, the acknowledgement of its fear, the fear that you're afraid you're going to die or something, or the deep down feelings, then these surface thoughts go away. So yeah, their exploration of the body is a great thing for you when you feel separate. At the moment in our society, we're taught to just be these heads, these moving heads, and just to be about seeking and getting and giving and giving and giving to yourself, and growth and growth and growth. So actually looking into what the body feels, you might also notice that you don't always want to grow either. So sometimes you want to be lazy and not always get and achieve and do things. You just like to kick back and stare at the ceiling. But we're so in this head area, and we're taught always intellectually what we have to do, and this image of ourselves, we pedal so fast to do things. So when you feel like you're separate and you feel like you're a person, then exploring what you think is great, and it will really balance you out as a person. Then the waking up is the recognition that that person is appearing in boundlessness, in freedom, and that person isn't a separate experiencer. But I think that the feeling of sensations, the releasing of bodily sensations from the body is profound, and it will have a really beautiful and positive effect on people. But non-duality is then the questioning of that person that does that. But you can do that simultaneously. I did. I tidied the cage at the same time as exploring who I was, because it was too much. By the time you start exploring who you are, not often you've got into quite negativity. That's why you're exploring it, and life has become uncomfortable, and your sense of self has become heavy, and you feel lost. So then just listening to non-duality, you still feel those uncomfortable sensations. So exploring those sensations is a great way to relax and release them and become more aware of who you are and what you like and what you don't like and what you actually want and don't want. But don't do it too intellectually. Don't stay in the brain. Feel the body. Let the attention, move the attention to the body and the areas in the body. And then when you feel more relaxed and you feel more happy, then there can be a listening to non-duality or a questioning of who you are, and see that that person that's doing all of that isn't actually an experiencer, but is an experience. And that person actually doesn't have free will, but it appears to have free will. It's not actually feeling its body, that's a happening. That's a happening. It's beautiful. Okay. Tanya, I remember you had a nice question. What nice tat? I have a tatty on my arm. I have a potato. Just being a silly Tanya. Okay, Lisa, stop looking at it. Okay, so what makes up Lisa's filter? Is it remnants of character, personality and trauma? And does that leave a flavour? Yeah, it does. So it's genetics, it's character, it's also once you've awakened, so once you've been identified and then awakened, you're still going to have those tendencies there. So you've spent many years seeking, so there's going to still be tendencies, which will get mellower and mellower over the years. Because you were originally based on a neurosis, but the body's got that tendency to move that way. You say, yeah, it'll be influenced by society, past traumas, all these different things. And these things are always up for moving and changing and developing and evolving. Lisa in the world, in the flow of things, she's still an evolving being. She still learns about the flavour of Lisa and the changes and the differences in Lisa and the neurosis in Lisa and the traumas in Lisa. This object in the flow of things is still evolving, changing and flowering. Like that movement, that shift of energy seems to flower more over time in the manifest in the body. Hey Kevin. We're all going to have written questions tonight. Sometimes it's nice to have written questions too. I think oh, okay. So Stefan, I will call you. And then, who is it that I said I was just going to... Kevin, could you just send that message again so I see it after I've finished? And then I'm just going to speak with Stefan because I said I'd speak to him last session and I didn't. Hey, Stefan. Hey, nice. We finally speak. I'm sorry that I forgot last time, or I didn't forget, or you left, or I didn't do it soon enough, I forget. But nice to finally speak with you.
I'm waiting for you to talking to you.
Yeah, do you have a microphone? Because it's not very good sound at the moment. Do you have headphones and a microphone?
Yes, sure. You can hear me?
Sorry?
Hello?
Hello?
Do it sound... Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, do it sound good now?
Yep.
Thank God, thank God because I have some kind of nervousness talking with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's okay, you can take your time, you don't need to hurry.
Thank you.
You have all the space. It's okay to be nervous. Sensations going through the body, in a way, it's like the most intimate way of being. All sensations. So there's a sensation of adrenaline that passes through. I get adrenaline sometimes, especially when my dog Khaleesi is chasing another little fluffy dog through the park and I'm chasing after her. But it's a sensation that comes and goes.
Yes. I am like in search of truth. I'm in search of truth.
You're in search of truth, right?
Yes. I think I have to stop my upstream.
Oh yeah, you stream, yeah. Just turn the volume off or stop it, whichever one.
Yes. So actually, I want to call and I want to speak. I know I am in search of truth,
Yeah,
what is life and spirituality, religion, all of this stuff.
yeah,
And like it happens to me in this life, when suffering comes to me, and I am very confused mentally in my mind. I have nowhere to go. You listen, you getting?
yeah,
So I also write to you in Skype I suffered. I am in
yeah,
stress,
yeah,
kind of depression I got
yeah,
about 2 or 3 years ago.
yeah,
I'm a fun guy. I used to fun before very much. But I don't know if it is what happened to me, like I did or some other did to me, or is it life life wants it to happen to me in which in if in the current state I am in which state I am in right now. If it is life life dream, I call it dream, whatever. Like if it is life, it is what life want me to in this position in which I am right now.
yeah. Do you want to know if life has put you in this position right now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, well, it couldn't be anything else. We believe that we act independently of other objects. That's what we believe. But this isn't true in any way. Does the wind act separately from anything else? Does the tree act separately from anything else? Does the sunlight act separately? There is nothing in this world that is independent. Everything's a movement of one energy, appearing as different forms.
So
So
what is
your
my
unhappiness is a result of everything. It's a result of life. So yes, it's life that did it. But you believe that you acted beforehand or at some point independently. But there cannot be independence. Tell me one thing that is independent from something else. One thing that you can think of that acts without anything else.
it's almost all interrelated. Like
Everything.
if I have to speak, I have to speak. It's dependent. Obviously, I speak with you, so it's dependent on speaking to you.
It's dependent on
So
the air you
it's
breathe. It's dependent on all the information that you've had to now. It's dependent on the brain working, on thoughts appearing. It's dependent on the light, the electricity for the internet. There is nothing here that it's not dependent on. Everything. There is never separation. Everywhere you go, everything is always dependent on everywhere else. You walk, it's dependent on the walking of the floor. It's dependent on the gravity. It's dependent on the sun shining. It's dependent on the earth moving around the sun. It's dependent on the air. It's dependent on parents teaching you how to walk. It's dependent on your genes, your motor abilities, everything. There is never independent action. So there has never been anyone that did anything themselves. So your depression can only be a result of life. And life is a never-ending sequence of events, never-ending sequence of things, one thing to another thing. But these things aren't separate. It's one energy appearing as all these different things.
so
So you think, what does this mean for me? It means that you're not guilty.
I actually, I'm in deep guilt.
Sorry?
I am, I am in deep guilt
Yeah,
within myself.
Yeah.
within myself actually.
Yeah.
What had happened to me, my friends, if depression comes to me, stress comes to me, like we were sitting around with my friends and just sharing in a way, and somebody is telling me something, and I just took that statement upon myself. Like he's saying something to me, good or bad. So it's kind of thought I pondered again and again over like it is a bad thing he said to me.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I am looking back. I am not good. I'm
This
not
is,
good.
but
But
this is really, really brilliant that this has come up in you. I know that it doesn't feel like it's nice, but if you listen to all the religions and all the different ways of pointing to non-duality, it's all about this original sin. So this deep sense of guilt and sin. And basically, when separation happens, when you get kicked out of the Garden of Eden, when you get kicked out of heaven, you always feel guilty for what you've done. And the human is always trying to make up for this in time and space. And then there comes a point prior to awakening where all of this weight, of this guilt, of this seeking energy begins to wake up. And then you feel tightly guilty, but it's being seen what's been driving your show. And it's really important that it comes to the surface. But it really screws up your apparent life and your interactions, and it's not comfortable at all. But what's got to happen is there's got to be an absolute acceptance of your sense of guilt and badness, and see that that sense of guilt and badness isn't the experiencer, isn't you, it's appearing in experiencing, and that person that you see as guilty and bad is no different from the external person that you see as good or bad. They're both appearing in the dream. And you are the dreamer of the dream, you aren't a character in the dream. But at the moment, it seems as if the dreamer is locked inside this small dream character. And this is remembering that you are the experience of that dream character, the experiencer of that dream character, not the dream character. The dream character is an experience happening. You see, you can see the guilt, you can see your thought patterns, everything about you, you see, and if you see it, that means it's an experience that's coming and going. What is it that you don't see which never comes and goes? Which is always present, that isn't one thing but is all things. This waking up process though is intense, and it's great to explore this energy and this guilt as well, where you feel it in the body. What stories are associated with it, what you feel guilty about, what you feel ashamed about, seeing where it is, seeing it moving.
yes. You're quite right, actually. Yeah. Um, I am fighting very much with my thinking process,
Yeah,
with my negative thoughts,
yeah,
and I am doing all the, like when the negative thought happens to me, I was in the state of hallucinations at that time.
it's
I
sorry,
was,
it's high what?
I was hallucinated at that time.
Yeah,
Hallucinated.
okay, yeah,
Hallucination.
yep, hallucinations, yeah,
Hallucinations.
yeah,
Actually, I'm telling the truth. I want to share. I want to come up with this.
yeah,
I want to get it out. So you are the only person I know. It's true.
yeah.
So
Well, in a way that there's lots of hallucinations the person's having all the time, but there's collective hallucinations, ones that we all validate and agree with, and then there's ones where we fall out of the collective reality. But the whole of society is collectively hallucinating. But your
yes,
activity has begun to fall outside of that. So something that I would recommend to you, which I'm sure you've been suggested to before, is to take on a mantra and to do a mantra practice.
yes, I want to share with you that also. Actually, I want to say where I am living a normal life before.
Yeah, yeah,
Like socially, I am happy and I'm living my life, whatever I do.
yeah.
We are enjoying, and I did my graduation also. And at the fourth year, I was studying like I hallucinated. We went with some friends, and
You tried
I
what, sorry?
I went with some friends. go with some friends, and we have some for enjoyment we do drugs.
Yeah.
In the sense like I took I don't know uh, my friends do this fun and I did first time they took LSD.
LSD.
LSD, yes, we took LSD. So I also took, and so like whatever happened. So we normally sitting around like enjoying, and I don't know. Only one person I know, one friend I know very well. Out of three or five, no, only 4% I know. Like they're not trustworthy. I don't know what it happens, and it hallucinated situation whatever we take. Like they took LSD and then I started hallucinated.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's their fault or my fault. Someone they abused me, starting like if they were making fun of each other, and I'm sitting, and I don't like bad image when negative thoughts comes up. I don't feel good, and so maybe like, but I know like I'm not a fool, but he abused me. I think so. So only from that day on, I am very actually I am hallucinating at that time, and he abused me. So it goes so deep in my head, in my thinking, in my heart, like. And I'm shy or kind of silent person. I don't speak much. So I kept quiet.
So
But
he
inside
abused
my,
you in your in a hallucination or in real life?
sorry?
Did he? Sorry, I got confused. Did he abuse you in the hallucination or
Yes,
in
yes, yeah, in
the?
hallucination.
Yeah.
So in hallucination state. Um, in hallucination state, I got in my head, I am hallucinated. I don't recognize what is true and what is
Not. Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
hallucinations.
Yeah. Yeah. It's strong LSD.
I got in doubt.
Yeah.
Yes, strong hallucination. Yes. So it disturbs me a lot
Yeah.
from that day on. So my friends also tell me that you are a psycho, like you're a psycho, you're a psycho guy. Or just leave it, let it go. Don't think of it. You're thinking of it too much. Negative thoughts. I don't know if I am thinking it or I am that of that. I am the negative guy and that of very like those thoughts are coming up. I'm
Yeah.
very down, very much depressed.
Yeah.
Very much depressed. My whole life is like upside down
Yeah.
from that day on. I can't live normal. I'm straight away telling you I can't live normal. But right now my situation is I'm handling it anyway.
You're what?
Uh,
Sorry.
right now my situation is I'm handling it anyway.
Yeah.
But that thought like that impression is still in my head.
Yeah.
That negative impression at the time of hallucination, at the time of LSD. We took LSD at the time of when I took LSD. That time impression I got in my head. So when I get like after the dissolution of the LSD, like living normal, uh, still I have that kind of impressions coming back to
Yeah.
me, like the normal people's also. I am seeing that with normal people's also. What I see in hallucinated state. The normal state I also confused in. I am also very confused. Right now I managed very much. I improved my situation from
Yeah.
that day on very
Yeah.
much. Like day by day I think like what is wrong, what is right. So that suffering turns me into meditative state,
Yeah.
meditation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think that would be very good for you, and I think doing something like a
Yes.
mantra would be really good. You can
Yes.
find a
Yes.
mantra and just stick to it. And if you've ever used the beads before, the Buddhist beads, you go around saying the mantra every time and doing something like this just to get you out of your thinking. And the reason I say a mantra over feeling the sensations in the body is because your mind is going to keep going back up to thinking with the sensation feeling. Eventually you can feel the sensations, but I would do something like a mantra to just settle the mind down and keep doing it like do it in the morning, in the evening, if you're on the bus, taking a bus or in the taxi. So wear it around your neck And so you repeat the word over again.
Okay.
And
I
this is
think
something
one
about
thing.
improving things for you. And then at the same time, when you're feeling more balanced, you listen to non-duality, and then non-duality is the waking up and seeing that one that's practicing the mantra isn't you. That's an experience appearing in you. But while you're having all these hallucinations, this is a great way to try and ground you. And I know your
Yes,
mind's going to want to fight it and say yes, but just do it.
I will do it for sure. I am doing it actually, Lisa.
Yeah,
I'm doing it.
that's
I'm
great.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yes. But only one thing I want to know that it is my hallucinations. Like I am creating. I have to stop this only, or I am dependent on others, or only from that person. Like I have to stay. You did this to me, so
It's
I want to clarify my.
nobody did anything to you, but in your dream, the other and yourself are functioning in the same way. So it's nobody else's fault, but the other person is what you need to see in order to be you. And that other person will have the flavour of that body which you're seeing, but everything you see in the other is happening in the same way you see yourself. It's an appearance happening. So it's not that who you see or what you think you see out there is true. It's a hallucination, but everybody's hallucinating. All people are hallucinating about who their partner or their friend is. Nothing you think about them is true. But if you're having, but also sometimes the hallucination can be sparked by that person's energy. So if that person's really negative, it can seem to spark something. So there is an energetical dance that happens between bodies, but your hallucinations are happening about the other in the same way as the hallucination of you.
Actually, I am feeling myself mad all the
Yeah,
time. I think I am mad.
mad.
Like no, I am acting mad. Like I am acting normal with people, but inside I am feeling like something is wrong in my thoughts.
Yeah.
Something is wrong. Something is wrong.
Well,
That I feel.
okay, well then you can also go and see doctors in society. But I think a really great way to break to also at the same time ground yourself is to do the mandala. But who knows what the acid did to the brain? But that you can go to a doctor and you can find out and explore what's actually physically, if there is something physical. It might also be a spiritual awakening, but explore all avenues. And there's nothing to be afraid of because you're not a separate entity that's in relationship with life. The fear that comes is an experience happening, and who you are is the experiencer, and that is still and free. But explore all avenues, don't leave anything unexplored.
Yes. Actually, it happens 3 years ago,
Yeah,
and from that day on, I am still
yeah,
exploring from 3 years, past
yeah,
3 years. And
yeah,
at that point, I must share with you that I am a very deep thinker and I think a lot. What
yeah,
happened to I I also enjoy very much hallucinative state, that state, and I do my meditation after that, and I had a glimpse of, I had a glimpse, I'm sharing with you, I had a glimpse of like kind of awakening. I don't know if I said it or I prayed. I did that. I kind of, I have suffering. For me, like, I suffered, but I kind of take myself into the positive side of, like, to explore life.
yeah,
Whatever it comes in the negative state, maybe it comes in my depressing state, but I want to come out of that state for my own. I don't tell anybody and just sit by myself and explore what happens to me, what happens that day, why I'm so depressed. And I did all that things and even exploring and still I don't like openly I'm telling you what is it, and I don't know why if you're getting. I need to clear my head sometime and I will confront with you that what is exactly what is in my mind, what is I want to say with you, to tell with you. But, I do have I do have a glimpse of consciousness.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's
Yes.
that's more than likely it's all combined. It all gets combined in together. There's like awakening, and it
I
disturbs the mind.
I have a mantra. I do have a guru and he gives me like mantra to chant.
Yeah.
And I chant it and very. I don't know if it happens spontaneously. It comes up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it happens that day. I just with my mantra, I'm chanting in mantra in deep meditation, and I I comes up with that meditative states. Spontaneously, my breath stops. At that time, my breath stops. I just share it with my guru also, and they just prefer me to do more meditation because I come out of that state. My breath stops, and I am inside the body. I'm feeling myself inside the body, like I'm inside of my body. What happens? What happens? That stops. This I don't know if this this I want this to share or this is wanted to open it to you. This kind of experience. I don't know. I'm opening it to you. I don't
You
know
want to
why.
what? Sorry.
I am opening my experience to you.
Yeah.
This happens to me, and am I clear to you?
Yeah. Sometimes it's a bit muffled.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. um, just I'm so much closed. My energy is so much closed, and you can sense that I can't speak very much loudly.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. No, it's okay. We can stop in a moment because I can feel that your energy is getting riled. Like it might be better if we just sit in silence for a moment rather than speaking, and just use your mantra. Like rather than thinking or if the paranoias come or anything that happens, just use the mantra. It's okay. It's okay. It's intense stuff. Intense energies
My
and thoughts.
my thoughts drag me. I don't know in which world. I identified my thoughts, and they take me away,
Yeah.
away from present moment.
Yeah. That's true. And that's why mantras, and we can just sit for a moment, are really good. But we can just sit as well. It's beautiful.
I want to say something. Could you please help me to get out from this depressive state of my mind?
It's a happening. It's a happening. Often in awakening there has to be often in awakening there is this darkness that comes up. It's a happening.
I can't find truth.
Yeah.
I can't face truth. What is the truth?
Yeah.
Like if I talk like a separate self.
The truth is what's happening. You're going into time, and this is why you're suffering, because you're going into thought land. The truth is, in the present moment, is the presence.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
The truth is the presence. Truth is presence.
Sorry, you're kind of blurred and your voice is not clear.
The truth is presence.
Okay, truth is present.
Yeah. But it's okay, because you're going to go back into the mind. Don't go there. You just sit for a moment. This is it.
I started thinking immediately.
Yeah.
And this is the truth.
This is the truth. This is why doing something like the mantra is good. You know, for your mind, and it's not for everybody, like each body is different, but for your mind it's a great thing. And the fact that you've got a guru and that you can meditate with your guru. And just moment by moment. That's it. No bigger thinking, no grander thinking. Just moment by moment.
Yes, this is my greatest fear right now. Like I immediately get into thinking process, immediately get into my everybody, my neighbors, my parents told me that I'm so lazy, so stressed, always so depressed. I'm always in my mind.
Yeah.
I want to get out. I want to get out of it.
Yeah.
Now,
It will happen. It will happen. It will happen.
Because it's very sad. I lost my father's few months ago.
Yeah.
So, because I think now I have to take on responsibilities. So I can't take on like this in this state, in my mental state, but it's right now mental state. I can't handle day-to-day activities
Yeah.
with my this mental state.
Yeah.
So I want to be like normal thinking and normal processing, enjoying life.
No, forget about that. Forget about that. Just forget about that. This moment, this is it. Just this moment. Just bit by bit. Forget about the stories of what you want to be like or look like. This is what's happening. That will go round forever. This is why the mantra is good. So you just take the beads and you just keep repeating the mantra. And you use the sensation of feeling the beads in order to remember, oh yeah, the mantra, the mantra, the mantra. But I think it's better we stop now because your mind just wants to keep going into thinking. But carry on watching on Ustream and listen to what's being said. But your mind keeps wanting to go into the story. You're not going to find completion in the storytelling. You're not going to find that comfort in the storytelling. It's right here. I know your mind keeps wanting to go forward, but it's not in the forward. I can feel that push of energy. I have to say no to it because you're just going to keep circling. But I'm not saying no to you, I'm saying no to that energy that wants to keep circling in thoughts. So even when you're sitting listening, you can rock if the energy is really intense, or you can use your mandala, you can walk around the room. But it's okay, I know it feels like it's not okay, but it is okay. You're always in God's arms. You can't get out of God's arms.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, with pleasure, with pleasure. Thank you. Bye. So Stefan, just keep on listening. You're not rejected in any way. You're not alone in any way. But I could feel if we carried on speaking, you're going to keep trying to get and get and get. So just take the mangla, pace around the room. If you need to shout, shout. And listen to the non-duality. Hi Darren Dewey. Hi Raman. Hey Kevin. I said I'd speak with you later next. Okay. It's Kevin. And thank you so much for calling, Stefan. Thank you. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to you. It's always helpful for other people as well. Okay. This is what we're getting today. They always have flavours, talks, like each one. And it's an energetic and a group thing. Okay, so I'm going through such an immense dark time right now. I have an injury in my body which blocks me from feeling light and free in my life. I'm sick and I feel so scared of it. I don't want to just talk negatively, but it's the way I feel right now, since a long time. It feels like there is no way out. I have such an intense fear which even hurts on my whole body. The fear. The fear consumes my whole consciousness and body. I don't know what to do anymore. Have you anything to say about that for me in the dark time? Hey, Kevin. Let's see. Okay. You spoke last week, Kevin, I think. A couple of weeks ago. Kevin, I assure you it's such a beautiful thing, the fear coming up. Have you ever heard the story of Eckhart Tolle? Now, I'm sorry if I bastardize his story or misremember it. I can't say that it's a really accurate memory of it. But I'll tell it to you. I'll tell it to you roughly from what I remember. Is that Eckhart Tolle, he was at university and he had severe depression in his 20s, and then when he was 29, he went to bed one night with such bad fear he didn't think he could carry on living. It was so intense. And it was so intense, and he laid there for hours and hours just in total and utter terror. And then at some point he stopped fighting the terror, and terror just embraced him 100%. And then he, for the first time in his life, he began to actually hear a bird. And everything woke up again and he was free. It wasn't even him, there was just freedom. But it went to such an immensity until that person totally stopped fighting it. And then it just totally took over. And then on the other side of that, there was this boundless freedom. And he heard the first bird, and he said that he spent 3 years basically in bliss from that, after that event. And sat on the park bench for 3 years. So it's such a beautiful thing that it's happening, but it's not beautiful because you think you don't want it to happen, and you think you know how you want life to be, and you don't want to feel this fear, but this fear might be the most amazing gift for you. Just stop comparing it to anything. Just let it take over. It's okay. Who you are is that total and utter freedom that's experiencing the fear. You don't need to control and maintain it and hold on to it and make it behave in a certain way. Everything is that fear. Let it totally express itself 100%. And who you are is that one that was never affected, which is all things and not one particular thing. So my advice to you is when you feel like you're separate, you can rest your attention on it and you can explore the fear and just stop trying to put it into a timeline. I've been like this for that long and I want to be like this. It is as it is. Thanks, Kevin, for your question. Hey, sources! I just go to some other people's sources, Kevin, sorry, just while just while there's new people online. Okay. Black rat dog, bring on a Lango. Lisa's just big Ollie tease. You're welcome. That's silly low pretending to be an alien. Yes. Hang on. There was something that I read down here. How does Khaleesi feel about having a pic of another canine on your top? Well, she does sometimes get a little bit jealous and ask me not to wear it. But, I tell her she has to explore the feeling of jealousy, just to see where it comes from. See that who she is the beingness. I told her I'll get her one when she's dealt with her jealousy issues. Please can someone to type the name of the new website of Lisa? Thank you very much. Oh, it's just my name. It's the same as the old one, lisacairns.com. But it's been relinked to the new one. Please can I still find myself looking for something to happen. I love listening to you. It makes me happy. Yeah, you're always looking, the person always listening. lisacairns.com. And it's really pretty. Oh, thanks, Christine. The fog's cleared. Christine, thank you. Is there someone from Brazil? Hi, Lisa. Hi, Jessie. Hi, Isabel. Hi, Renate. Did others' message go through it? I can never tell. Love you, Lisa. That's silly low pretending to be an alien. Yeah, sorry. Silly Lisa. Bring on a Lango. Oh, Kevin says thank you, made me cry. Yeah. Okay. Notice for some of you how the energy's like, quick, do something, she's quiet. Abort, abort. Eat, eat. Get a drink, get a drink. This is it. This is all there ever is. Your sufferings come from always trying to get to something else. Abort. Meow, meow, siren. She stopped doing something. What do I do with myself? We sit here. Lisa looks at her tattoo and she looks back. Okay, so watch how many people leave the session when I say this. Watch. You're going to sit there and be like, no, I will stay. I am not going to speak for the rest of the session. Just going to sit in silence. Now watch it. You'll be like, well, this is pointless. Some people will get it, but some people won't. Oh, actually it's going up. That's great. Good job, guys. Mm. Pardon me. Sorry. One more thing, okay. So some spiritual people like to say we're love, we're created from love, we're expression of love. What about fear, hate, rage, anger? People like to only see us as creatures of love, but are we also creatures of fear? Yes, the creature is all those different, the animal, the person is all those different things, but we are created from love. The true nature, that which is awake, which is experiencing all this, is total and utter love. Fear is happening and hate is happening in the oneness. Aren't we all made of that as well? Yes, but the nature, the source is love. One more thing. It doesn't sit well here that I am only love, because then I don't know where hate comes from. Hate comes from separation. Love is that which is experiencing the person. Hate comes from the person that believes it's separate and believes that it has to control life. However, if we are everything, I can own my social rage, anger, fear, tendencies in private space alone, but I cannot own that I have murderous tendencies within me because my conditioning is not to harm another physically. Hope that makes sense, just some thoughts. You'll notice that all that hate for people in social situations comes from separation, which has the seed of hate in it, which the murderer also murders from. The paedophile does his act from. The nasty, manipulative businessman does his act from. The spiteful girlfriend does her acts from. They all come from the seed of hate. And that seed of hate can only come when separation is. Love is, what is it that knows the person? What is it which this is all appearing in? The person isn't experience, so the person is an experience. But that's all the questions, I think, or nearly all of them. There's some more people that would like to speak, but I'm going to call it a night and go for my dinner. I am hungry. I send you lots of love. There will be no stream this Sunday as I will be in Berlin, but if you feel like coming and joining me in Berlin, you can find all the info on my website. So the next stream will be next Wednesday at 7 p.m. UK time. Thanks, guys. Bye.